Today, I'm going to show you 5 steps for getting that in-your-face vocal sound that just pops out of the speakers and drives a song.
I don't think I'm over you. It wasn't love, but it was nothing. Ooh.
Number 1, choose the right mic. Dynamic microphones will give you that dry, crisp and very present vocal sound, as opposed to condenser mics which have more headroom, are richer, but they lack that intimacy and immediate presence. I often use this old mic when I really need that in-your-face vocal sound. That's a simple and inexpensive mic, and in fact I purchased it when I couldn't afford an SM58. I love the sound of this mic, it's so crisp. With dynamic microphones, we can have the singer singing right up to the mic, using this proximity effect for extra dryness and presence. They may not have that high definition sound, especially in the high frequencies, but the lows and the low mids are so tight, and when you process it, you can take that into account and compensate for that. Step number 2, control these sibilant sounds. The T's and the S's can sound very explosive when singing at close proximity. We want to make sure that we're in control over these sibilant letters and that they sit right in the mix, especially since we're going to add extra high frequencies and use a lot of compression. In this song, I'm using 2 de-essers and a transient shaper. I would usually have 1 de-esser as the first plugin in my vocal chain.
I think I'm over you. But you seem to move on and forget me.
So it can be quite gentle, but it's just safeguarding the sibilance and making sure that they don't protrude too much. The second de-esser does a lot more because it comes after the compression and after the EQ. So it really tames the S's and the sh sounds. And it could be quite aggressive. And then we have this transient shaper here, which controls the mouth clicks and other explosive little sounds that get amplified since we're using so much compression. So these measures really help the vocal to stay contained so we don't get any sounds poking out and grabbing our attention away from the performance. Number 3, get the level really consistent before you're hitting any compression. So I'm using M leveler here, and it basically rides the vocal and makes it really, really stable in the amplitude domain. So I can set the target and it will make sure that the vocal hits that target on every phrase. So it's not getting into the sort of inter-phrase levels, but it works on a phrase base, which is really important because it doesn't have any release artifacts like compression.
Wish I could pretend it's not the end.
So you can see that the input is much more dynamic and the output is much more solid, and we can basically amplify the softer phrases, make sure that the vocal has continuous presence.
You smile to hide all your fears. I laugh too bad.
And now we can use really hard compression, which increases the presence, since the compressor doesn't have to deal with varying levels of vocal because we straightened the levels before hitting the compressor. This is really important. So this is compressing quite a bit and makes the vocal more compact and kind of solid. And then the next compressor I'm using is compressing even more, building on the compression that the first compressor gives us, which is more sort of leveler-like. So the attack and release are slower. But this really holds the sound and responds very quickly. So I'm compressing easily 9 dB, that's fine. That gives it that sort of compactness and the vocal is not going anywhere. And this helps in giving that in-your-face sound. Number 4, since we're compressing so much, well in the range of 12 to 15 dB of gain reduction, sometimes even 20, the breaths are going to be very loud, much louder than how the breaths sound in relation to the sung vocal in the original recording. So we need to take care of that. In order to do that, I'm actually splitting all the breaths to their own channels. So if we listen to how the vocal sounds without treating the breaths,
it's like I'm losing someone I'll never find.
the breaths sound really loud and they really poke out. So what I'm doing is I'm having them on their own channel, and it may sound unnatural this way, but in context,
I'll never find you smile to hide all your fears.
I can control them separately and I don't have to compress them that much, and therefore they're not gonna stick out too much. And this really helps in maintaining the vocals sounding natural while being extra present. Number 5, which is quite obvious, we don't want to use any reverbs. Sometimes people say, oh, this reverb actually makes the vocal sound drier than it is. No, it doesn't. Just don't use anything. I know it's tempting because reverbs make the vocal sound prettier, but if you want to have that in your face, super present vocal sound, just keep it dry, because then you'll have more contrast between the vocal and the rest of the tracks. Super dry.
You let me fall. Oh, now I'm halfway home, not home at all.
So all the backing vocals have some reverb on them, which makes them softer and pushes them back in the mix. And that makes the vocal poke out even more in contrast.
All my unspoken tears.
And even here on the bridge, we have kind of softer moment with strings and piano, and they take up the backstage and the vocal is right in the front. No delay, no harmonizer. As you can see, there are no effects whatsoever. So these are the 5 steps for getting your vocals really present and crisp. If you follow these steps, your vocals will jump out of the speaker and grab the listener in a very engaging way. And this is what we want in a pop song. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. And I will see you on the next one.